I'm here to talk to you today about the fair tax. Some might ask, why a fair tax? What's wrong with our tax system just the way it is? I'd like to outline a few things for you to think about, to hopefully inform yourself about, but more importantly, to make a decision, a conscious decision, to vote in favor of a fair tax for the state of Illinois. When we look at the history of our state and what we have experienced over the last decade, the seesaw of up and down budget crises, school closings, mental health centers closings, jobs lost, jobs not created, homes, and the ability to be trained and educated and live a decent life has been compromised, in large part because our state is under a tax system that does not tax the wealthy as it should, and again, puts the burden on those of us who make less than $250,000 a year, which again is about 97% of us in this state, on a constant effort and responsibility and burden of paying more in taxes than the wealthiest 3%. That's not right. I don't care how you look at it, how you shape it, frame it. It's just not right. Now, what could we do if we had a fair tax structure? Well, let me give you a few examples. We could put more money into education, more money in education for all of our children throughout the state, which would then mean we might not have to raise property taxes, for example, because generally when we're short on funding for education, where's the first place we go to look for it? Property taxes. So I know for me, that is a good thing. Then, human services. So there are so many human services that depend on funding from our state to help to provide not only the services that people depend on, but services that people in our communities deserve, such as health systems that are not only affordable, but quality health systems that can help people to prevent some of the illnesses we have, and which have, quite frankly, surfaced a lot in the last 6-7 months because of COVID-19. They've become more aware, or more obvious, if you would, that they exist because of COVID-19, but they exist because, quite frankly, we don't have adequate health care. Another services that would benefit from funding from a good, solid, and strong state budget are our mental health centers. And one of the things that we know, especially during this time of COVID, that people are experiencing all kinds of feelings and thoughts some that they need help with. And yet we don't have a place for them to go. We don't have treatment to offer them. And primarily because those centers and places that they could go don't exist anymore. Why? Because we don't have the money in our budget to fund them. And then the infrastructure. I heard a woman say the other day that she felt really skeptical about going under a viaduct near her home because of the falling structure. Well, those are places that, first of all, should be more secure. People should not be afraid to go under. And then secondly, those are places that could, if being repaired, could offer a few things. More secure and safety in traveling and exposure to those areas. But guess what else it would do? It could help to provide jobs to make those repairs that are necessary. So those are just 3 things that are very important and yet essential to our community. The education of our children, young people, and even adults who desire to return to school. Our human services and health care that we all deserve to have good access to, and certainly not have them be closed, like Mercy Hospital, for example, which is on the block for being closed. And part of the reason, again, has to do with funding. And infrastructure, keeping our roads and our fairways safe for traveling and being exposed to. So there are many things that we could do with $3 billion, an additional $3 billion in our state budget. But the first thing that we have to do is pass the amendment. The first thing that we must do is vote yes for a fair tax. So simply put, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? That means that people like myself, like you perhaps, who make under or less than $250,000 per year would not get an increase in your taxes, and in some cases, maybe pay less. What that also means is that people who make $250,000 or more would then begin to pay their fair share, which is it really is the right thing to do.